What's up, Halo 3 gamers? Mr. Cully coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be explaining how to do a project. You're like, project? I'm like, yeah, so you're not going to have to listen to me talk about labs and PowerPoints. We're going to do a project, and so this one's coming at you from Mrs. Thornberry. She approached me and she was like, hey, Cully, you want to do like a collaborative kind of lesson project thing? And I'm like, heck yeah, I do. And so those of you that have her, you know that she's super creative, and what we're going to be doing is something that she did in high school with her science class, and that is pinhole cameras. So pinhole cameras were the most primitive version of cameras that we have, and there's a lot of cool science behind it that I'm going to explain, but not quite yet, but I'm going to explain to you kind of what this project is and what the setup is. So what you guys at home are doing is going to be a little bit different than what those in class are doing. Those in class are going to be actually using film paper, and they're going to be actually having a hand, like a tangible photo that they're going to get from theirs. Those of you at home, I can't give you those materials because some of them are kind of just hard to transport, and they get all messed up because photo paper, film paper, when it's exposed to light, just absolutely goes to crap. So what we're doing is a variation on it where we're going to be using our cell phone. So it actually turned out really good, and I'm going to show you kind of how I did this. So this is my pinhole camera that I used for what you guys are going to be doing. And this took me, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes to make, and it turned out really well. So what do we got here? We got a box of Black Forest So Juicy, So Good Juicy Burst gummies. And this is like your poor man's Gushers. These are amazing, okay? It's like filled with the fruit, and apparently it's actually natural fruit, like real fruit juice. I don't know if I believe that. They definitely don't make me any skinnier, but they are darn good. But anyway, I took this box. You can see how big it is. It's like a little bit wider than a cereal box, but this turned out to be a really good sized box. And so what do we have inside of it? That's what we want to know. Oh, no gummies. Okay. So what we have in here is, you can see the first thing that I did was cut out this little kind of like 1 inch by 1 inch square on the side, in the middle of the side of this box. So I did that first. That was my first step, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil. Well, that's what that is. That little piece, that's just a little thin piece of aluminum foil. That's a little bit wider than the hole that I made. You can kind of see the outline of the hole a little bit that I made. And in the center of that aluminum foil, you have this little tiny pinhole. Wow! That is going to be the only source of light that enters this box, is that little tiny pinhole right there. And you're like, Cully, wait a minute, that's going to be able to capture an image? I'm like, yes! It is so cool. So basically, I just took this piece of aluminum foil, I took a little small pin, or you could take a needle, and you try to make the smallest hole you really can. And so that one is not super big. You can see what it is in relation to anything. That's just like the top of a pin, top of a needle, and just kind of made it like that. And so what else I did was I just kind of centered that needle, that pinhole, in the middle of that cutout that I made in the side of the box. And then I just taped I used black tape because I don't want any light to get in. I figured that this would be a really good tape to use. And I just used black electrical tape to kind of tape that aluminum foil on over the hole that I cut out. Okay, so that's all that is. Well, what's this on this side? Well, that's just a piece of printer paper. That's all that is. It kind of looks like a movie screen. This is kind of a movie theater. You know what? I'm going to use an analogy. This is a movie theater, and that's projector, and that's the movie screen. And so that's just, I had to cut that to size. You'll probably have to do the same thing for your box, but essentially that's just a piece of printer paper that takes up that whole side of the box. And then on the other side, this was already closed. I didn't open it, but I did want to seal the corners and the cracks from letting any light in, because no one likes any light in a movie theater. You want it to be completely dark, and I'll explain the science behind that too. So I just sealed off these edges so that we didn't let any light in. And essentially, what we're going to be doing is, since you guys don't have film paper, we're going to be using our cell phones to take a picture of this movie screen. You're like, Cully, it's a dark box. What's going to be on the movie screen? I'm like, haha, you wait. So that little hole, you can actually see right now that it is illuminated a little bit. That is, wow, Android. A little bit, and that's going to be allowing some light to get in this box. And you're going to be amazed at how much light can actually enter and create an image on the screen. So what you're doing essentially is you're going to take your phone. And so here I got my iPhone 13. This is, I know Steve Jobs. Oh wait, he's dead. I know, is it Tim Cook? I know Tim Cook and he's pretty cool. And so he gave me this iPhone 13, really cool. It's got the triple camera setup, and imagine that this is the back of your phone. And so actually, we'll use the movie theater analogy. This is the back of your phone, but you're also sitting in the theater, and you're just kind of watching what's on the screen. Well, since you can't actually be in this box, your phone's going to take your place in the movie theater. And what you're going to do is you're going to kind of prop your phone there, and then, don't make fun of me for this, but I'm going to use these. You're going to kind of use these. I have to set this down. And you're going to use these tiny cups or whatever you can find to kind of prop your phone against the side of the box, just like this. And so now when you kind of like move it, it stays in one place. You don't want it falling over, something like that. So now your setup is you got this movie screen, got these cups or whatever, you got your phone, you got your pinhole projector camera. You obviously don't want your phone covering that. And it's facing the movie screen, kind of like it would be if you're sitting in a theater. And what I did was I set my camera settings to have a timer on. So I think you could do that with an iPhone. I don't have an iPhone, I'm not rich. You could do that with pretty much any phone, is just have a timer setting. I think mine was like 10 seconds. But if your phone is good enough, it might have an exposure setting too. Like if you have night mode, that is perfect for this because it's gonna be super dark in here. So I encourage you, if you have night mode or you have some sort of long exposure mode on your phone for taking pictures, that is perfect for this because it's gonna be super dark in here and it's gonna help. But basically what I do was you kind of slide your phone out just a little bit so you can see the screen. You push the shutter button and then you quickly slide it in like this. All right, I'm obviously doing this a little bit slower, but you quickly slide it in, then you kind of cover up the box. All right, and so imagine this is gonna be happening a lot faster in real life. But what's happening is the timer's counting down, right? It's not taking the picture yet. The timer's counting down. It's ideally pitch black in this box, right? Ideally pitch black, except for the light that's going to be coming through that hole. Well, what you want to do is, at this point, as it's counting down, before it takes its photo, you want to point this at something that you want to take a picture of. So let's say you want to take a picture of this beautiful desk. You would just point the box at that desk, and then you're going to keep it here and just have it sit here until you hear the shutter go off. If it's a long exposure photo, then you're obviously going to kind of wait until you hear the second click. That's what I did for mine. But essentially, the light that enters that hole is going to be projected onto the screen, the printer paper on the back, and your phone's going to take a picture of that. And so when it's all done, you open this up, take your phone out, obviously you can't see anything. You take your phone out, you're going to get an image. And so the first one that I did, the first image that I got looked like this. So I did mine in the rotunda of the high school, kind of out by the band room, and this is what I got. And what you're going to notice is that this looks upside down, and you would be right. You're like, Cully, well, I can kind of tell it's a rotunda, but why is this upside down? And so let me go with the science now. So the science would tell you that, imagine this is your box, okay? This is your box, and this is a little pinhole. That right there is a little pinhole. And so this is the back of the box. This is your movie screen. Well, what happens is light enters through that pinhole. The top of an image, whatever you're kind of pointed your box at, is going to be sending light rays, reflecting light rays downward to that pinhole, and it's going to go in a straight line through the pinhole down to the bottom of the box. And then likewise, at the bottom of whatever photo you're taking, whatever scene you're taking, that's going to be reflected this way, enter the hole, and be at the top of the box. So your photo in the back is going to end up being reflected and flipped. So it's going to be inverted and flipped. So it's kind of like weird. But the way to kind of fix it is to rotate it 180 degrees and then flip it too. So that is why it gets flipped, is because the light rays go through in a straight line everywhere. And so what you end up having is an inverted and reversed image on the back of your screen. So if you were to kind of reorient this to make it look like normal, that's what you would get. And so I found that indoors you really don't get the best kind of pictures. I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, you think about it, you would not expect that to be on the back of the movie screen just from that pinhole, but yes, it absorbed all that light, reflected all that light, and that's what's on the back of that movie screen. Well, Outside, you're going to get a much better picture. And so I was absolutely blown away with what I was able to get from here. So I put mine outside in the front, kind of at the Norton Panther, and then this is what I was able to get. And you can notice that it's flipped and inverted. So you got to rotate it and then invert it back to get the actual image. And this is what I was able to get. So you can see here that you got enough clarity that you can even see Norton High School in there, which is absolutely insane. So there's my cups. So you can see that it was inverted. Those are the cups, because obviously the cups are to cast a shadow and be a part of the movie screen. But this is an image that I was able to get based on just that pinhole allowing light to come through. And you're like, Cully, my camera already takes photos and much better ones than this. And I'd be like, shut up, okay? This is science. You know, we're doing something fun. Just relax, all right? Just have fun with it. Gosh, shut up, stop. But anyway, there's a couple tips that I want to tell you to do, or kind of inform you of, that I found along the way, because I did not get those photos right away. The smaller the pinhole, the more clear the image. So if you're getting kind of like a really muddy looking photo in the back, then that pinhole might need to be a little bit smaller. If you're getting no image, that pinhole might be too small, but try to make that pinhole smaller. Also, those of you that got nice phones, use your wide angle lens. Kind of zoom out your camera as much as possible, because if you're sitting back here, obviously that phone's gonna be super close to the edge of the box, to the other side of the box. So if you do a wide angle shot, you're gonna get more of that photo in the shot, and that's what I did. Also, like I said, use night photo. But when you close this up, what I would do too is, to prevent light from going in, kind of muddying up your photo in the back, kind of cover the seams, because you don't obviously want to tape these, because you're gonna have to open it back up. Just cover the seams like this to kind of minimize how much light is going in. But just kind of play with it. You know, I kind of lucked out. This was my first one that I made. If you think you can do it and use Black Forest Juice Burst, you can do the exact same thing. Mine turned out really well. But each box is going to be a little bit different. The dimensions of the box might affect it. But either way, I got some really good results just based on this. And maybe I just have a good camera because it's Android. But other than that, you might be able to get something good too. But we'll talk about the science a little bit more when I go over a PowerPoint. But this is essentially what we're going to be doing in class. And so what I want you guys to do at home is to be able to make this. I want you to log, kind of take some pictures as you make this. Just kind of maybe like 5 to whatever it is that you just kind of log what you're doing along the way. So that's going to be part of your grade, is just the construction of making your pinhole camera. And then after that, I want you to take at least three photos with your pinhole camera and kind of submit those as well. So your grade's going to be based on taking pictures of the construction of this, and then also what kind of photos do you get out, all right? And then there's going to be some kind of like, all right, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, you know, your classic teacher questions. So that's going to be the project that we're working on. It's going to take the kids in class quite a while, because there's a lot of steps to this. But those of you at home are going to be making something like this. And I encourage you, you know, have fun with this and kind of be creative with it. So I was amazed by the results that I was able to get. And you might be too. I'm curious to see what happens with other boxes as well. But that's what I got for you. And again, if you have questions, let me know. But I'm anxious to see if you guys get something as good as this.